Well, for more on this, we're now joined by Right to Know activist Michael Graaf. A very good evening to you, sir. We thank you very much for your time. Essentially, your reaction to this agreement between SABC and eMedia.
Good evening, everybody. Well, watching the launch, it raised more questions than it answered because, for a start, why didn't this happen years ago? And secondly, when they say it's mutually beneficial, you know, the journalists actually asked them for something more than that. And I think we, as the public, we deserve to know a bit more about the terms of the deal. We're glad that SABC stands to get more revenue, both from advertising and hopefully direct from eMedia. Although, of course, we don't believe the SABC should be seen as having to operate commercially. It is a public broadcaster, and this is why it's a pity that the expensive channel that's fairly new and it's showing only on digital terrestrial TV, which is the 24/7 SABC education channel, why could that not be put onto this platform, even though it may not attract much advertising revenue? You know, even before the pandemic, education was in a crisis, and I think they should consider that. Instead of waiting to launch new channels, why not put that one on straight away? So these are the questions we were asking ourselves.
Now, Michael, what about the ordinary person who cannot afford to buy Openview?
Well, look, everybody has to migrate to some form of digital TV in the next year because analog TV is being switched off. So this is one way to do it, and it seems to be roughly the same cost as buying the official set-top box that the government is sponsoring or supporting. So it might take off a lot of the pressure from that migration process. But then it raises the question, the whole digital terrestrial TV is going to be losing out if more and more people go to satellite. And we've invested a lot of money in it. If we keep it running, how are we going to get returns on that investment?
What are your concerns with regards to the transition process and the acceptance of ordinary South Africans onto this digital migration?
Well, I think it's more about public information. You know, there's been so much mixed messages over the many years, and people don't know what to believe anymore. So I hope there can be a clear communication to the public that this is one way of doing it. And then I should also suggest that maybe the government should consider that instead of subsidizing free set-top boxes for the digital terrestrial TV, in some cases they might subsidize these set-top boxes, say for schools in rural areas where there's no good signal from the terrestrial TV.
We're going to wrap it up there this evening. Thank you very much for joining us, Right to Know activist Michael Graaf, with regards to that SABC and eMedia migration carriageway agreement.